Welcome, everyone. This is DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and on the tabletop. And please welcome my co-host, Friend Memberloft, Draculita.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Drac. How are things going over in Barovia?
Same dumpster fire, same mist.
All right.
yeah. That pretty much explains it. It's a total shit show. So that's all you need to know.
All right. Then let's find out what happened in update 59.1, which was released apparently on May 10th.
It was last week. So whatever May 10th was, Wednesday, I think. Something like that. If I can go back in time, right? Timey-wimey stuff. But yes, Wednesday, May 10th, we had update 59.1. And that brought us some bug fixes. Yay for bug fixes. They did fix an issue where adventure area objectives, such as the Slayers or random encounters, were not properly completing for players. We talked about that last show that we said, hey, don't go do any Slayers because they're probably not going to update for you. Well, that's fixed now, so go ahead and do those.
That's
Slayers.
good to hear.
But of course, people probably already know that because this is old news. The Saga Skip dialogue has been updated to inform the player that it doesn't count for story prerequisites, nor favor only towards the saga progress. Okay. To Curse the Sky, which I have not done that quest in forever. I actually enjoy that quest. We need to run that, Pineleaf. FYI. They adjusted an area where it was too easy to accidentally aggro too many salads. I know it's not salads, but I call them salads. Slods at once. Which is good, because that could happen in a couple areas of that quest, if I can remember. There was a couple points to where if you were not very careful with how you aggroed, you could get a bunch of slods. In the Eyes of Stone quest, corn, I always say corn every time, and I do not know why. Coin Lords, I always say, I'm just going to start calling them the Corn Lords from now on.
Corn Lord. They have gathered all of the grain, and they control the entire grain supply for Stormreach.
They do. Those silly corn lords. All right, let's try that again. Yeah, every time I have to stop myself and say, inside my brain, say coin, say coin. I didn't do it that time, and look what happened. Coin Lords in the epic and hard difficulty did not have their correct appearances set. Okay. Now it uses proper loot drop rates as well in the Eyes of Stone quest. In Framework, after completing the quest, you will appear near the quest giver in Lord's March Plaza rather than near the quest giver's old location. Handy. They fixed an issue in Undermined where some Dungeon Master lines were erroneously repeating. In Diplomatic Impunity, you can now insult the bullywugs correctly. They also fixed references to the wrong monster in some conversations.
Okay, the bullywugs. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because don't get me started on that.
Right,
but
okay, yeah.
We don't need to bring that up. Don't get me started, Pilot. Wayloon Prison, they fixed a crashing issue with some random encounters, and the Tabaxi Trailblazers Escape Artist now has its intended cooldown. There's a few other slight changes in the game in a rather somber note. There is now a memorial to late DDO developer Humble Friar that has been placed in the Gary Gygax memorial area of the game. So if you know where that is, stop by in game, bow, say some respects to Humble Friar. Mounts and pets that are granted account-wide from special offerings going forward, such as with expansions or limited time releases, will now automatically apply to your stable upon login, rather than appearing in your inventory as certificates. Thank the Lord for
this. Yes, thank you.
This needed to be done from day one, so thank you very much, SSG, for this. You're going to get an alert to notify you that your mount or pet has been added to your stable. This behavior is not yet retroactive, though, to any older special offers or expansions, so you're still going to need to log in, click those, or if you have to claim them from an NPC, do that. get the ticket, get the certificate, yada, yada, rinse and repeat. But anything going forward should automatically utilize this. So thank you. And that was our update 59.1.
All right, that takes care of the update. Now, it looks like that we are having another hardcore league. And is this going to be just as bad as the previous one?
I mean, it's hardcore, so maybe. Yeah, it did start May 17th, which the astute among you might realize was yesterday as we record this on the 18th. So yeah, the 8th season of hardcore is upon us. It's going to run through July, so it's a little shorter season. It's pretty much just like hardcore. There's a couple little differences in this one, though. Once you... Well, here, let's talk about the rewards first, and then we'll talk about the secrets, because this was a secret until people started playing it, and then people figured out what it was. But for 1,750 favor, you're going to get a glittery golden eye toggle. So basically, your eyes are going to glow golden. Yay. Right. I guess. Reaching level 20, you'll get your Death Walker's Sash. And that, of course, is for the new season, so it's got the new season number on it. Yay, I guess. Gaining 10 Reaper enhancement points will give you the Death Walker's Cloak. And then 20 Reaper enhancements, you get the Solid Gold Mimic Creature Companion. And then in the little blurb they talked about, this, of course, came out, this article up on DDO.com came out right before the hardcore season started, actually. But they said there are some secret things to discover as well. Well, we know what those secret things are. The season is called the Dragon's Horde, and it's exactly what you think it is. There are Dragon Horde chests that are hidden. Players have deduced, I don't know how players deduce this, but they think there's 7 of these chests that are hidden. They're hidden in Quest. So basically, you just got to play every quest up on it. But now people know where 6 of them are. I'm also going to link over on the forum. Somebody has put together a little thing where they list all the locations if you would like to know. There's also a vendor. Once somebody finds one of these chests, there's a vendor in the Hall of Heroes that will give you a hint to where the next one is, which is kind of cool. I didn't realize DDO had that tech that could do that. But so there's supposedly 7 of these chests, and what people are thinking is once you collect 7 of the coins out of these chests, 5 of them have been found. There's still 2 left to be found. Once you find 7 of these coins, you can turn those in, and that's what will get you the golden footprints, which are just like, if you remember from the first hardcore season, they had the bloody footprints. You know, it looked like little bloody footprints following you when you ran or walked. This season, which we do know about because Quarterman did show it up on his Fridays at 4, they are golden footprints. So now they look like little golden feet behind you. And players are deducing you have to get these golden Dragon Horde treasure pieces. Once you have all 7, you can turn them in to get your footprints. Players think, we don't really know for sure. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and link over onto the forums a post that is up. People are sharing where they're finding these hordes. So far, it looks like they've all been in optionals. So I guess my hint to you, if you want to try to find one of these, like maybe one that hasn't been found yet, really run the quest. Go through all of the optionals. Don't skip an area. Don't zerg a quest. You really got to explore. Find all the optionals. That's where the chests are. At least that's what it seems like from where the other chests have been. So there you go. If you're into hardcore, have at it till July 19th. So it's a little bit shorter season this time.
All right. I presume that those chests tend to be in the higher level content?
No, the first one was actually on Korthos.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely not higher level.
So far it looks like, then again, I don't know if this is indicative of how it's going to continue. So far, looking at the locations, it's about every 3 levels is where these chests are.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised it. I was going to say, what, you mean people weren't all going into the Borderlands or something?
Yeah. But yeah, the first one, I'll just spoil it. If you don't want to know, tune ahead about 10 seconds in the podcast. The first chest was found in Sacrifices, and at the top with the skeleton that you have to like parkour to get over to.
Right.
Yep, that's where the first one was found.
Okay, that sounds like a place to put it, because that is an annoying encounter to do.
Yes.
All right.
So, like I said, so far looks like they've been found in mostly optionals. So we'll see if that continues.
Okay.
Like I said, there's a post over in the show notes if you would like to see where those are located, if you're so inclined, if you're doing hardcore. But meh, I don't care.
And apparently someone tested and found out that no, you cannot turn in 7 from the same chest.
Yes. No. It does not work like that.
It does not work like that.
You got to find all 7, bud. Come on.
You gotta find 7 different ones. All right. Well, because someone here has listed 8 that have been found.
Oh, that must have been updated the last time I looked at that forum post then.
Yeah.
So
that means that there would be more than.
So apparently there's more than. Like I said, they really don't know. This was like the big secret of this season. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah. There has been 8. Oh yeah, the last 2 are new since the last time I looked at this list.
Yeah.
So yeah. So there you go. Like I said, that if you go over to our show notes on ddoplayers.com for this episode, you will find the direct link to this forum post if you're so inclined to find them. So good luck. So apparently there's a lot more out there. Like I said, for some reason, people thought that was 7. I don't know how that got in people's heads, but apparently there is way more than 7. So
yeah, maybe someone figured out that you need 7 in order to unlock something.
Maybe that could be.
And that didn't consider the possibility that there might be more than 7 chests in all. Well, I don't know, because none of us know yet.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's kind of cool they're doing a little scavenger hunt, but I don't care.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't care about hardcore. So
we don't do hardcore. So
I am not your hardcore audience. So there you have it. But if any of you are playing hardcore, let us know. Podcast at ddoplayers.com. Tell us how this season is, how the server is, all that fun stuff. I have no desire to even jump in for a half a second. So not going to be me.
All right. So apparently that there is this hardcore NPC that's unavailable on the hardcore server.
The vendor where once you get to your favor level and you can get your reward, that's NPC is not available on the hardcore. They're working on a fix for that. It's going to be a hot fix. Going to be soon. But my suggestion for you is if you are close to that favor level, I would stop and just kind of chill out. Or if you've hit that favorite level, I would not play until that NPC is there, because if you die in the meantime, you're screwed. So the choice is yours. But yeah, there is no hardcore vendor on the NPC server. The hardcore vendor on the hardcore server, that's hard to say, available right now. They did say hotfix is incoming as soon as they can get it done. So they're hoping this will be soon. But like I said, my suggestion, if you're close to any of your unlocks, stop playing that character. Because if you die, it's on you.
Very well. Then let's go and find out what's coming in from the dungeon. Where it seems like Rebellion Unplugged has acquired the rights to Tunnels and Trolls.
They have, and this kind of came from nowhere. This just all of a sudden I got this press release. It's like, hey, we're doing Tunnels and Trolls now. Of course, we're talking about the classic Tunnels and Trolls game, first published way back in 1975 by Flying Buffalo. Duncan Molly, the head of Rebellion's tabletop imprint Rebellion Unplugged, says Tunnels and Trolls is an unrecognized trailblazer in the games industry. The team at Flying Buffalo responded to an entirely new medium by focusing on how role-playing could be more approachable, more accessible, and more fun.
Oh, I thought you were going to say more deadly.
Yeah, well, it is. It is pretty deadly if you've ever played Tunnels and Trolls. But yeah, so if you're looking to get some Tunnels and Trolls, you don't have any yet, you can get PDFs currently over at Rebellion's online store. They did say they are going to get some reprints of the physical books out as well. Those are just not out as of yet. But it kind of all stems from, if you can remember, we talked about a while ago that Rick Loomis, who of course was the founder and president of Flying Buffalo, he did pass away. And then once he passed away, the company was taken over by a company called Webbed Spear. And then they struck up this deal with Rebellion to take over the property. The press release did say, as part of the acquisition, Rebellion has taken over Flying Buffalo's entire line of role-playing games. So that does include Grimtooth's Traps, City Book, Merchant Spies, and Private Eyes series as well. So it's not just Tunnels and Trolls. They basically have the whole role-playing line from Flying Buffalo. So like I said, look for actual physical new imprints of the book soon, but you can go over to Rebellion's page, which I did link over in the article on DDO Players, for any current information and to get the PDFs if you still need to get some Tunnels and Trolls in your life.
Then let's go and find out what's on the screen. Where Pathfinder Abomination Vault's video game has been announced. A video game based on Pathfinder. Is this the first one, or have there been?
No, there's been plenty of others.
Okay. Shows you how much I've been paying attention.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this is about the probably, I don't know, fourth, fifth video game based on Pathfinder or something like that. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong on that. But if you can remember, back in April, like maybe the 1st of April, something like that, we talked about Paizo announced that they did do a partnership with BCom Entertainment, and that was to make some video games based on Pathfinder. And hey, look at this. They're making a video game based on Pathfinder, just what they said they were going to do. This is going to be based on one of the most popular adventure paths there is for Pathfinder. It's called the Abomination Vault. This is going to be a hack and slash action RPG. The story is going to follow roughly the same adventure path storyline. So if you're familiar with the adventure path, it's going to follow that somewhat. They might, deviate a little bit to video gamify it a little bit, but they said they are going to pretty much try to stick as much to the plot line of the adventure path that they can. There's going to be 4 playable characters in total. You're going to have the Barbarian and the Wizard are the only 2 that they've announced so far. I'm guessing all the other iconic characters from the Adventure Vault are going to be there, but more details are going to come soon. This will be coming over on Kickstarter, actually, is how they're going to do this. So look for that information soon. And you might be thinking to yourself, BCom, why do I know that name? That's because it's the same company that made the Tales from Candlekeep Tomb of Annihilation game.
Oh, no.
Same company as the company that's doing this. So for better or for worse, it's the same company that's doing it. And we actually are going to talk to them about this at some point. I'm just not sure. We're trying to work out scheduling for that now. It's kind of a weird situation to work scheduling out for this for a couple different reasons. But we did talk to them, if you remember, way back when Candlekeep, they were developing that. We had a couple different interviews with them. So we are going to talk to them again. I kind of have it tentatively scheduled. Well, I mean, it's on the books. We just don't have a date yet. There's a lot of moving parts to work all that out there. Anyway. So yeah. An interview will be coming about this, but if you're excited about Pathfinder and the Abomination Vaults, which I haven't actually played Abomination Vaults, but I do have the PDF of it, and I've read through it, and it looks freaking amazing because it's horror-based, so... like, hello, have you met me? This is me, so tentatively excited. I guess it depends how you thought about Team of Annihilation. What you thought about that, if you're way excited or not excited at all. So,
if I remember Team of Annihilation, I was excited about on the early versions of it, and then I felt that they tweaked it to death.
And I have been corrected via text. Thank you, Beaker. This is the third Pathfinder computer game.
Okay, the third Pathfinder computer game.
I knew it was third or fourth, so there you go.
Okay.
So look for the announcement of when the Kickstarter will be going live soon, but Pathfinder Abomination Vault, going to be a hack and slash video game coming soon to Kickstarter, and then hopefully, I'm assuming after the Kickstarter is done and delivered, you'll be able to get it all the usual places, Steam, GOG, yada yada yada. So we'll find out more, and like I said, interview in the works, so stay tuned for that. You'll be seeing that if you follow our feed. You'll be seeing that interview as soon as we can get it scheduled and done.
All right, and you know what this world needs?
What does this world need?
This world needs a 24-hour, 7 days a week channel just for Dungeons and Dragons.
Do we though? I mean, apparently we do. Hasbro says we do, at least. The Entertainment One E1 company, which of course is the entertainment owned company by Hasbro. That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to launch a Dungeons & Dragons 24-hour streaming channel as early as this summer. Yay, I guess. It's going to be called the Dungeons & Dragons Adventures Fast channel, which don't ask me what the fast part has to do with it. Like, why don't they just stick with Dungeons & Dragons Adventure channel? But whatever. It's going to be available on a, quote, number, unquote, of platforms. E1 would not comment on any distribution deals they have as of yet. So I'm assuming what I would read into that would be, I'm assuming it's going to be probably available on like Fire TV, like Roku, maybe Apple TV, such as that. I'm assuming is what that means. I would think that would make the most sense. But it's going to include a number of original unscripted programs. They're also going to have episodes of the 1980s classic Dungeons & Dragons cartoon on there as well. Some of the shows you're going to be able to watch, as this is going to be 24 hours, so you'll have all day and all night to watch these. There's going to be a show called Encounter Party that's based on the podcast of the same name. Also a show called Heroes Feast that's a part talk show / cooking competition show. Let's let that sink in for a second. Why do we need a cooking competition D&D show?
Who could make the best iron rations?
I mean, I realize there's a D&D cookbook and there's soon to be another D&D cookbook, but do we really need a cooking competition? It's also going to be a talk show too, so okay. Okay. And then one of the other shows they announced is called Faster, Purple Worm, Kill. It's going to be an improv comedy spin on classic Dungeons & Dragons gameplay, and that's created by Matthew Lilliard, who, of course, everybody knows probably as the voice of Shaggy in the Scooby-Doo movies. But he also plays D&D a lot, too. And he's a really nice guy. I met him at Gen Con a couple of years ago. He's a super cool dude, but yeah. So there you go. If you wanted to watch a cooking competition show about Dungeons & Dragons, you're going to get your chance, I guess. We'll keep you updated on this. I just don't know what Hasbro's thinking here, other than they like money.
Oh, I like money.
Yeah.
How many billions?
It's 80, Frito. It's $80 billion. That's a mighty big minus, isn't it?
Yeah, I like money, though. That wasn't really part of the deal.
Okay, I'll throw in another couple billion, all right?
I like money.
But, okay. Because you know this is going to be ad-ridden everywhere. There's going to be ads every 20 seconds on this thing. You realize that, right? And it's all going to be Hasbro stuff, too, amazingly.
Of course. What would you expect?
So there you go.
See the latest ads on Magic the Gathering, you know?
Exactly. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Your dreams have come true if you wanted a 24-hour D&D channel. Right. I mean, I guess the coolest part of it is they're going to show the cartoon. That's pretty cool. But I mean, I have like the DVD box set, so I can watch it anytime I want. And
not have to worry about commercials.
Right, exactly. Not have to have Hasbro thrown in my face every 10 seconds. I mean, yeah, I digress
Well,
before I get myself in trouble.
yes. And it appears that you now have free on Amazon Prime Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition.
Yeah, and I even forgot this was a thing. If you have Prime, every month they give you free games. I totally forgot that was even a thing with Prime. It's called Prime Gaming. Like every month there's a batch of new games. And thanks to Evil Beaker, actually, he sent me an email and he's like, hey, did you know you could get this free on Amazon Prime right now? And I'm like, no, I did not, because I forgot you could even get games. But yeah, I went over and sure enough, if you want the Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition, you can add it for free. And then also through the... that's actually passed, so never mind. We're not going to talk about that anymore.
Strike that. Reverse it.
Yeah, so the only thing, you have to be a Prime member, which I'm assuming most people are. If you're not, you can sign up for Prime, and then you go to, there's a link that you go that has all of the games, and then you have all the games listed, and you just click the ones you want, and then you say get game, and then it kind of adds it to your library. It's kind of like Steam almost, because it adds it to your account, and then you have to use, the only sucky part of it is you have to use their Amazon gaming app, which really blows chunks. It sucks a lot. But I mean, hey, you're getting free games, and Planescape Torment was actually an awesome game. I'm pretty sure we did a review on it when it came out, like way back when. It's been out for a long time. I'm almost positive we did a review on it. If we didn't, we were supposed to, and I never did it. But anyway, because I played the game, and I'm pretty sure it was for review, but I don't remember actually writing a review for it. So, oopsie daisy. But yeah, anyway, so go get that through. You can get it now through, and it's usually the end of the month is how long you have, and then when the new month starts, there'll be a new batch of games. So it's pretty cool. I've actually gotten some pretty decent free games out of it, because usually there's some pretty decent titles. It's not like they just give you crap titles, but I completely forgot about it until Beaker sent me that message. But there's directions over on the, you can go around into the show notes, and you can see directions on how to actually get the games. And then if you don't have Prime, you can sign up for Prime and do all that.
I was never into using the Amazon app for games. I guess because I use Steam and I don't like having more than one
it sucks.
major source in the air, because it'd be such a pain going between various platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is.
So I'm just not doing. In fact, I think I've only ever gotten one of their free games, and that was Tales of Candlekeep.
I did.
I had the Steam version also, but I got a separate copy of, so I could do a free copy through on the Amazon one, so I could do some things that are slightly different than
there you
Steam
go.
version. So I did that just for experimentation, and I got bored with doing that pretty quick. I think it was like right after that where Tales of Candlekeep really took a bad direction for me. So,
but yeah, like I said, there's always a ton of games, and then it's not just games too. There's a lot of the times you can get like skins for games, or you can get like weapons for like some first person shooters. Sometimes they give you like in-game currency for stuff. They usually do a lot of stuff for Hearthstone as well. Usually you can get some cards and stuff. So it's not really just games, but there's like right now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like there's about 15 or so different games you can get. So and they're free. And once you have them in your account, you have them in your account too. So it's not like you only get them free for that month. Like once you add them, they're yours. But then again, the only drawback is you have to use the stupid Amazon gaming app to play them. It's kind of sucks, but what are you gonna do?
Well, there is, which makes me wonder how much it costs on Steam these days.
Don't know. I should have looked that up, but
okay, let me see.
So yeah, you can check that. Yeah, I'm just looking now, seeing if there's any other decent games that you can pick up.
Planescape Tormentor Edition, 1990. Oh, that's. It says it's in my library. Okay.
Well, there you go, Prime. If you owned it, you didn't even know it.
I forgot that I even had. I probably bought it based on your review.
Welcome. Probably. I would have to go. I hope I did a review on it, because I was supposed to, because I know I got it from them. But anyway.
Yeah.
So there you go. Go get your free Planescape. It is a really good version of Planescape, actually, if you're into Planescape, which as we know from a couple weeks ago on the show, I am a fan of Planescape, so I might have to replay this.
Yeah. It's a vehement fan of things state, if I remember properly.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So there you go. Go get your game free from Amazon. Well,
right.
You got to pay for Prime too, so there's that. But anyway.
Well, there is that, but if you have Prime for other reasons.
Right.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Amazon, it appears that, I had been hearing rumors of this for a while, and I thought it had died or something like this, but apparently it has been revived or something, that Amazon is working on a new The Lord of the Rings MMO. Now, I think I've heard this before several times in the past, over several years. So.
You're probably thinking of the game that was announced and then it got canceled.
Yes.
Yes, they were working on a game, and then there was a whole bunch of stuff that went down because they were working on a game with Liu Technologies, and then Liu Technologies got bought by Tencent. And then once that happened, Amazon got ticked off, and then Amazon and Tencent couldn't work together. And then that whole project got canceled. So everybody was like, oh, well, I guess that's it for that MMO. Not so fast. Yes, a brand new Lord of the Rings MMO is on the way from Amazon Game Studios and the Embracer Group. And if you remember, we did talk about this. It's been a while ago now that Middle-earth Enterprises was purchased by the Embracer Group, bought the rights for the video games and movies from Middle-earth Enterprises. So it's a complicated thing.
Okay.
Embracer Groups own the rights for games and movies. Middle-earth Enterprises, of course, still owns all of the rights, but Embracer Group can make video games and movies.
Okay, and I don't know, it just sounds like they're owned by the Camarilla.
Exactly. That's about what it is. It's all complicated.
Yes.
But to make it easier to understand, Amazon Games is making a deal. They are going to make a video game, and they are saying it is, quote, the iconic stories from The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings literary trilogy. Okay, so there you have it.
Okay.
But notice what I said there. Just let that sink in. What did I say there? So when is this game going to be based around? Like, what do you think this game's going to be based around?
Okay, so let's have that, one more time. Iconic stories from The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings literary trilogy.
Mm-hmm. So basically
for an MMO.
The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings books.
Well, that's a rather strange thing because those two books are about 60 years apart.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But what other game?
Yeah, I know there's another
basically does the same thing.
Well, they don't do stuff from The Hobbit, but there is this thing called Lord of the Rings Online that I have heard of.
Yeah, I think you have. You might know a few things about it.
Yes, I might have done a skirmish or two in it.
This is fascinating to me because Amazon makes the Rings of Power. They own the rights to the Rings of Power, so they could make a game based on that section of Middle-earth.
Yes.
But no, they're going to do the same thing that Standing Stone is doing with Lord of the Rings Online. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this.
Yeah, iconic stories is a multiplayer platform that features iconic stories from The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings literary trilogy. Yeah, that's the...
And, they said we're committed to bring players high-quality games, whether through original IPs or long-beloved ones like The Lord of the Rings. Bringing players a fresh take on The Lord of the Rings has long been an aspiration for our team. They are honored and grateful that the Middle-earth Enterprises is entrusting them with the iconic world. That's what Amazon Games Vice President said. And this is going to be headed by the same studio that made the New World MMO, which then again might be either really good for you or really bad. I tend to lean on the, oh my God, what are they going to do with this? Because
the New World MMO?
New World's horrible. To be fair, I haven't played it in about 2 years, so it might have gotten better. I should probably reinstall it and see if it got any better, but it did kind of blow when I first played it. But so that's all we know.
Strange. I noticed that the reviews recent reviews are mostly positive, all reviews mixed, so that probably means that very early on they're really bad.
And that's what I played it right after it launched for probably about 2 months, maybe after it launched, and then I'm like, yeah, this game is horrible, but they might have gotten better. I don't know. So yeah, we'll see. And Amazon Games did say that they are looking to this to be a long-standing game so far, which I don't know why they said this, but they're like, they have some stories planned out for this to where they could go for about 10 years.
Well, yeah, I thought I've heard that there was another game that went actually for, I don't know, 16 years maybe?
So, yeah, this is so weird to me.
And it's still on?
And I'm like, I want to reach out, which I didn't. I should have. I should have reached out to SSG for any. I know they're not going to comment on it, though.
Yeah. They had, in fact, already said on the forums, no comment.
Oh, okay. I assumed that's what I would get. I was going to send an official press email to them as press and say, hey, do you have any comments on this? And I assumed I was going to get a no comment because that's just, as long as I've been covering games and video games and all of this such, I assumed that was going to be the comment that was going to be given. So yeah, it's just so weird to me that they're basing it on the same timeline. Okay, I will see how this pans out if the game even gets made too. Like, just because they announced it, but sounds like they've got, from what I gathered, I did a little bit of research on it. From what I gathered is they've kind of splintered the development team. So there's like 2 teams working for Amazon Games now. There's the New World team, and then there's the Lord of the Rings team, which it doesn't actually have a name yet. They're just calling it Lord of the Rings game right now. So there's two teams working. So they're going all in on it. So we'll see. And I mean, Amazon's got some pretty deep pockets. So, and I'm pretty sure the rights to make the game probably weren't cheap either. So they're probably going to want to at least try to get their money back or just cancel the thing outright. So we'll see what happens. But there you go. So new Lord of the Rings MMO set in the exact same world as Lord of the Rings Online. So
yeah, it looks like that even more recently, some New World reviews have been really atrocious. Apparently, they're complaining about our most recent update.
Like I said, I will have to reinstall it and play it.
Not after that most recent update.
It's been a while since I played it. Maybe I'll try to do that to see if it's as bad as it was, but it was bad. But yeah, so like I said, you might be really excited about it, and then you might not be. Oh, if it's made by them, forget it. I'm not even going to try it. So,
well, maybe they got all of their bad vibes out on that one, and maybe they will know how to do it right next time.
And then
again, I always have Lotro to play if that.
Right. Yeah, well, that's true. And then they haven't announced. I'm assuming this is going to be like New World, which New World is a buy to play. So you just buy it and then you can play it. There's no like subscription or anything. I'm assuming this will follow the same way, but who knows? We'll see. More news as we get it. We'll keep an eye on it, but it's weird, bizarre news that like I said, I don't understand. Because Rings of Power did fairly well for Amazon. It wasn't quite the raging hit that they thought it was going to be, but there was a lot of fans of it, and it was a really good. I mean, I liked it. Like Tolkien purist hated it because it wasn't really Tolkien, but it was, but it was, because I guess I never really asked you about Rings of Power as the Tolkien purist that you are and the Tolkien expert among us, as it were.
Well, actually, I did quite a bit of watching of Corey Olsen's content relating to that.
Okay, well, that would make sense, yeah.
He was, of course, looking at not mainly from... When he looks at something, though, he doesn't first look at it on how he rates it in how good he thinks it is. The first thing he likes to do is take a look at it and look at it as scholarly. So he had a YouTube series on which dove into and looked into the adaptations and the various choices made and stuff like that, and looking at it from a literary perspective. And it's a very interesting insights on that concern. And no, he is not a maniacal purist that that the real strong detractors are.
So if you are not aware, the Rings of Power is set in the Second Age.
Right, it's in the Second Age, and it's using a compressed timeline, mainly because there was something like a couple of thousand years, because the scope they want to carry from the time to the beginning to the end of it is about a 2,000 year, I think, timeline or something like that between the making of the Rings of Power and the Fall of Numenor, which is the time it's carrying. So they decided to compress that into a single timeline, and considering that not much exciting happens in that 2,000 years, in between the two events. It's probably
Right.
a legitimate literary choice.
So if I remember right, now correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But from like the second age to like the third age, which is where the One Ring is and all of that, which brings in the fourth age, that was about 3,000 years between that.
It's
roughly.
3,000. It's 3,000 years from the end of the second age to the end of the third age.
Okay. All right.
The Ring
So,
of Power then is starting, at least 3,000 years in the past.
but I mean, why would you not set it in the second age and have Morgoth? I mean,
Well,
come on.
Morgoth would be first age.
Oh, that's right. You're right. That would be first age.
And I think that is purely Silmarillion stuff.
I always get that confused. Like, what's Silmarillion, what's not?
It's hard to say what's from the appendices and what's Silmarillion. And
Right.
I think Amazon has claimed that they do not have rights
Right.
to the Silmarillion.
They made that perfectly clear, before Rings of Power even came out, because people were all excited because they were thinking it was going to be the Silmarillion, and then they're like, no, we do not have. And I don't think anybody will ever get rights to that.
Well,
Because if I remember correctly, doesn't Christopher Tolkien still own those rights?
I thought that Christopher Tolkien passed away a few years ago.
Okay.
So-
then I think the Tolkien, it's one of those that's weird. I think that, like, Middle Earth Enterprises doesn't have complete control of the Silmarillion. Right.
Middle Earth, Amazon did not go through Middle Earth Enterprises. They went through the Tolkien
estate,
directly.
right.
And they went through that, I think, like around the same time that Christopher Tolkien retired. I don't know if whether I can't remember the exact timing on the matter.
Yeah, I can't either. I remember there was a big hubbub about that, but I don't remember what it was.
But I would say that I would suspect that if Christopher Tolkien was in full control of the thing, that Amazon would not have been able to make Rings of Power.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of stuff that would have happened if he would have.
Right.
I had forgot he did pass away, because that's what, because he was like one of the most staunchest protectors of the IP.
So it's possible someone might at some point convince the Tolkien estate, but I think that
maybe
I don't know how the thing is working right now, but I suspect that it'll be a while before they may be convinced on the matter.
Right.
But it's less impossible.
It's just interesting to me that they're not basing this off of the Rings of Power, because that just seems like what they would do, but they are not. It's totally going to be Third Age, Hobbit, and Lord of the Rings trilogy books. So interesting, I guess. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Then let's into our week in gaming. Drac, what were you up to?
Nothing. Well, I take that back. I did do one thing, but I'm not sure if I can talk about it. I might have an embargo. I gotta double check that, so I'm not gonna talk about it in case I get myself in trouble. So yeah, I only did that one thing gaming wise. Other than that, I had one of my weeks from hell that I often have, which ergo why we haven't had a podcast for a couple weeks. Again, I apologize. Hopefully that's gonna get better, but not so much here in the next little bit. But more on that later, maybe. So, Pine Leaf, what did you do?
All right, I'll begin with DDO, where I went into an old stronghold where I lit a beacon.
Maybe involving a dragon head, if I'm guessing correctly?
Yes, involving a dragon head.
Mm-hmm. I figured that's what it was.
Yes. And in tabletop gaming, I was playing a game called The Legacy of You. I don't know if I talked about that before on the show.
I think maybe you might have.
Yes.
Like, briefly, I think.
Yes. So I was playing The Legacy of You, so I've played 3 more scenarios in my campaign in there, so I've completed 6 of them. The first batch I did about a month ago, I was losing the first few ones, but because of the way the thing works is that when you lose a scenario, you take a defeat card, and if you win a scenario, you take a victory card, and what it does is that the victory cards tend to have bad turns that are approaching, and the defeat cards tend to have good things that happen to bring a ray of hope into it. So that sort of helps to balance things out. So if you're doing very, very well, it's going to get more and more challenging as you go along. So I've been noticing that last couple of little ones that, things are starting to get a little bit tougher there. So I suspect I'm going to have, maybe when I do the next batch of them, going to be kicked in the teeth a couple of times before I get back to winning. But in the campaign, you're expected to, it lasts until you either win 7 games or lose 7 games. So the campaign can take a little while. And it's a solo campaign game. It's not technically a legacy game, even the legacy in the title. It has some elements of a legacy one, but you don't tear up anything. It's 100% resettable and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not a true legacy game in there, but you do have components changing all the way through. It's just that it's done all the way through replacing cards in it. So retiring some cards and adding new cards, and you can always reset to the original card set when you finish the campaign in there. And then in Dinkum, I set as a goal for this week to buy a helicopter, and I was working really hard to get all of those ingredients for it, and I was finally getting to the point of, wow, I am only one piece of ore away from finishing this. Maybe I better go and check out what the price is on top of all the components I need for it. Like that, it's probably going to be 800,000 dink or something like that. I look at 3 million.
That seems like a bit excessive.
Yeah. Well, it is a helicopter. So we're talking about a flying machine that we can fly from place to place. So I got to say why it would be a little bit expensive in there. I mean, you got to get this thing off the ground and all that stuff. Well, yesterday I managed to just barely finally get that 3 million that I needed. And so the next day I got the helicopter, I plopped it on the ground, I did a little flying around. I said, let me try going to my favorite ore collecting area in order to go into there, and landed it right into the river.
Nice.
Oh, well, thank goodness that in Dinkum there are that if a vehicle gets broken, it just gives you a box in your inventory that contains it, so you can take it to a safe place to open it up.
Oh, well, that's handy.
Because it would have been the fastest loss of $3 million otherwise.
That's what I thought you were going to say happened. Like you bought it, you put it together, you flew it, you immediately crashed it, and then you lost it.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, no, I didn't lose it. I was able to recover the thing, but it was just crazy that on my first significant flight that I took with the thing,
right,
I managed to crash it into the river.
I mean, I guess it was the river, so maybe that helped you. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so that was sort of like a real interesting thing. I need to improve my flying technique a little bit. Yes.
Finally learns to fly.
Finally learns to fly. And that was my week in gaming this week. We currently have 13 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support DDO players, you go to the Nations page. You can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money will be used for podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. And we do not have any emails. So if you feel like send one, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News.
Wednesdays-ish.
Wednesdays-ish, yes. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, you'll load your Players News. You can join our shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight, then. This is Pilot Noodles reminding you to quest responsibly.